Hello and welcome to yet another exciting episode of the Road Ahead Talk Show, powered by Jio Events and knowledge partnered by Sciative We Price Right. In today's episode, we have the extreme pleasure of having with us Nadia Hussain, who's the founder of Hair Loving Products. In this episode, she will walk us through her product journey, the beauty market in the UK, and how she is leveraging technology and pricing for overall business success. So, welcome to the show, Nadia.
Thank you very much for having me, Vijayta. It's a pleasure to be on your podcast.
I would love to hear from you, your story. What made you come to a point where you are today, where you thought of coming up with products specifically focused towards hair loss? I would love to hear your journey and your stage that you have come here.
Okay, so I've been a hair and makeup artist for over a decade, so that's 13 years. When I had my son, I decided to take a few months out. Obviously, that we do that here in the UK, you get maternity leave. In that time, I fell into becoming a hair and makeup artist and becoming quite successful in that. I used to hear about how women were struggling, men were struggling post cancer treatment, through stress, through menopause, and through post-pregnancy in regards to their hair loss, patchiness, alopecia, patches in the beard even, although we are quite a predominantly female-focused brand, but we do have a product for hair loss in men as well. I sort of set out to find a product that was on the market that would be ideal for my clients, my family, my customers, and my models that were suffering from this hair loss. I couldn't really find anything that I was happy with. So I created my own product. I sold 100 units from the back of my car because I was doing mobile hairstyling and makeup. And I thought, well, there's got to be some regulations we've got to go by. I then did a formulation diploma, and then the rest is history. So we rolled out our first product, and something very similar to that product is now on the market still.
So passionate about your product when you speak about it.
I am, and I think it's very hard to hire people that are as passionate as the founder of the product, because we've
absolutely,
24 hours for the 5 years that have gone by, have ate, slept, drank that brand and those products. We dream about the formulas and the customers, the clients, the exhibitions, when we wake up, when we sleep. So yeah, that does
about the challenges as an entrepreneur, right? What kind of challenges have you faced and how did you overcome them?
So the challenges I've faced there's quite a few. So, you learn from them though. So that's the positive. The negative is that there have been a lot of costly approaches to, unfortunately, having bought into what I have been sold myself as a founder. So in terms of services that we are sold into, whether that's from Google marketing to literally anything. And I don't really want to go into that too much because I think that's a whole subject in itself. And that does kind of come into mentoring a little bit. But it could be literally anything from per unit costs is a challenge. Economies of scale is a challenge. And then on an emotional and personal level, nobody would understand the journey of a entrepreneur or a brand founder unless you are also an entrepreneur and a brand founder, whether it's a physical product or whether it is a service like what you guys provide. Only those that are in that realm will understand, which is why even on my WhatsApp there's different people for different things. And just with one sentence, the entrepreneur will understand the struggle you're going through. It's quite funny, actually, when you message people or bump into them at exhibitions again and again.
That's right. And how is being a woman either helping you or is it more challenging? Does the world become more difficult when a woman is in the room making bold statements, talking about the product that she has built?
What has your... I literally did not hear the first word. I heard everything else, so I'm going to struggle to answer if you're going to have to repeat that.
Okay, I'll repeat that again.
Just the first word.
Are you able to hear me now clearly?
I can hear you. It's just that one first beginning. I didn't hear that at all.
No worries. I'll repeat it again. So yes, absolutely. I also see that a lot of challenges happen, and even I mean, only an entrepreneur will be able to understand the pain that an entrepreneur goes through. But being a woman and being in the beauty industry, has that been a blessing for you? As in, because people relate women and beauty together, right? And you're in the beauty industry. Has that been a blessing for you, or being a woman entrepreneur raises even more challenges when you are there in a meeting room? What kind of reactions have you faced there? Do you think that being a woman entrepreneur is more challenging than a male entrepreneur? Your reactions.
I think being a almost midlife Asian woman entrepreneur in the UK has its own challenges, 100%. I think if you ask any woman of colour in the UK, some of them, or in a small percentage, would probably say that it's still mainly a male-dominated, possibly environment. I've been at events where people with a lot more power and financials have gone into bigger stores and bigger retailers with a far, in my opinion, far less strong brand. And they've come to me at my exhibition stand for patting me on the back, and it can be quite disheartening. But yeah, I think there are always challenges being female. That is changing, however. That is definitely changing a lot. And again, without our male counterparts, we wouldn't be where we are. You know, everything is a balance in life.
So how do you overcome this? I mean, when you say, for example, I'm pretty sure this podcast will be very important for many other women who are listening to this. And this month we are dedicating towards women entrepreneurs. How do you handle it? Because it's not just you. I'm pretty sure there are so many more who are going through something very similar, whether in UK or India or US or anywhere. How do you handle it? How do you take it?
I think the main thing to handle any situation is to have your mindset strong and to know that you're the founder, you're the boss, and you have a clear vision. So when you have a clear vision and people see that you're not, you are convincing them, you are convincing yourself, then there's a big psychology behind all of that as well. So in terms of it can be as little as body language all the way through to how you come across. And you've got to be determined and adamant to break those glass ceilings, and you will succeed. And if it takes you a little bit longer, as long as you're determined and you have that clear path set, you will definitely succeed.
So beautiful. I mean, it's all about your assertiveness and your determination in what you're doing. The belief in what you're doing is very important.
I mean, if you remove the negativity, the procrastination, and the blocks that you have mentally, work on yourself always. If you're going to be in a strong place yourself, in your personal life, private life, and you overcome things that are thrown at you in your professional, just move on, just keep moving on, move on to the next thing. Don't look back. You're in a current place at the moment. You weren't in this place before. So if you keep stepping ahead without looking back, you will definitely be able to overcome any negative patterns or any negativity that is thrown your way, or any blocks like that.
Absolutely. And it's also very important to understand that as an entrepreneur, you can sometimes feel very alone. But what happens is when you get mentored by people around you, these folks who might be other women entrepreneurs, or might be people with a lot of experience, somebody who's elder, have been there, done that. So, how has a mentor helped you? Do you have any experiences on somebody pulling you out from that place and you felt, wow, this is really good? I was not able to think about this unless you told me about it.
No. So the long answer is your mentors are going to have to be those that are from very similar industries to you.
Mhm.
And they must be people that you are not harshly mentored by. So they would be people in your realm that are, say, in the beauty industry that do beauty products. And they're not so much mentors. The best mentor is somebody that you softly approach and that they are on the same journey. So, for example, if we're on Amazon, they're on Amazon, they may be a candle brand. And then you can knock heads together and work together and have opinions together about, say, Amazon. How's it going for you? It's not done well for us because the fees are too high, for example. Then you can have different levels of mentors who they don't even know they're your mentors. And you will network so much that you can then recommend people to each other, such as designers. But then I would always say that I would not want a mentor who specializes in cars and is a businesswoman or businessman that sells cars or AI, for example, or sells the service of Google Ads, for example. It's just not the same industry. So you must
Absolutely.
make sure that they are from the same industry. And for me, my initial mentor, when we were about to launch before COVID, told me not to launch the brand. So we had everything ready, the products were ready, the website had launched. I think about a week or 3 weeks before our first UK lockdown. And they were like, don't launch. We don't know what's going on. And I went against that person who has multiple businesses. So
So how did that work out? Did that work out in your favor, or do you think you should have listened to
yeah,
that
it
person?
definitely worked in my favor. It did work in my favor to ignore them. But yeah, so if I'm from the beauty industry, then obviously I would stick to the beauty industry. That's another key thing that I was going to say when you first asked me this question. Being from a particular realm, if you stick to what you're into and grow with it, being from that background. So if I was from, say, a property or real estate background, then as long as you're good at it and you're in it, then grow with that, regardless of recessions and whatever.
Yeah. And it's a very interesting point that you have made, that if you're choosing a mentor, because a person chooses a mentor, right? And also the mentor chooses to be a mentor. It is
Exactly.
very important to identify a mentor who can actually understand what you're doing. And for that mentor to understand what you're doing, the mentor should be somebody who's related to the industry that you were in. As somebody absolutely unrelated, will not be able to empathize of what you are going through.
Absolutely.
Brilliant point. Nadia, um, from your childhood, were you very curious? What made you into an entrepreneur? What were you earlier, and what are you
No,
today?
not at all. I was a very soft child. I was really sometimes I worry about being soft, because you can't see how you come across. Sometimes I watch back my own things and I'm like, oh my God, did I say that? That's quite good. But no, my childhood, I was a very soft person or soft child. I went into a very harsh sales environment just before I gave up and went into beauty. I was actually in real estate and I was doing sales, residential sales. I didn't particularly enjoy it, which is why I previously answered that question. There was a time before my son was born that I really did really well. I did enjoy it, but it was a short space of time, I'll be honest. And then I went back part-time, and you cannot do such a masculine focused competitive thing when you go back part-time. It just does not work. It didn't work for me. I became very unwell with an infection, and by then I'd already started the hair and makeup, so I was having to turn down jobs for makeup and hair. And when I was on the hospital bed, I thought, you know what, forget this. I'm going to give up that job and I'm going to focus on the beauty, and we're going to do this. So I resigned when I got back home. I knew I was going to do it on the hospital bed. I knew this was going to happen for sure. And I went back. They said, don't worry about the pay, keep the money, it's fine. You know, thank you for your service for God knows how many years. And I never looked back. So my childhood was nothing like what I have to do now and how much of a strong woman I have to be right now. Yeah, so.
What a learning journey. What a learning journey. I mean, these are all the experiences of yours which made you take tough decisions, and those decisions.
I think as a child and as a teenager, you really absorb things that many, many decades down the line, when you see where you're at that point, you think, do you know what? I now know why I am who I am and where I am because of what I absorbed as a child from around me. So I do hope my son seen my struggles with hair loving, and is going to be the best entrepreneur in the world.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So being a mother and being an entrepreneur, they are both highly demanding jobs. How are you balancing them together?
Oh my God. I mean, if you ask my friends, I always say, how am I balancing this? Am I a bad mum? Any mum who is even a stay-at-home mum would probably feel the same anyway. So that's what they say to me. But I think you have to go think past that, because I've even spoken to my son about this, and he said, even though he's not that emotionally strong like that, you know how some kids are really soft and emotionally they can express themselves, he's not one of those. But even he said, no mummy, you're not, I know you try your best, so you do need to check in with your own self and remember that it's fine, you're doing this for them, basically.
So it is very important.
But it is very hard.
You have built a family. You have built your son in a way that he really understands what you're doing, and he's quite a support to you.
He really is, yeah. Even at this age, he is very supportive, and he is my biggest critic as well, though. He's definitely
How are you building your employees within your company? What kind of culture? So being a mother makes you very empathetic. You understand how to be a good parent. You understand how to parent people around you. But what happens to that mother when she comes to job, and how are you nurturing your team members? Does that motherhood comes in, or you're a different person altogether? Tell me about it.
I think I'm still learning that personally. It's very hard to have so many different hats on, and then leadership is a completely different learning curve and a different hat in itself. That in itself is an art. You could be great at dealing with suppliers and knowing your formulas, be academic, or be a great mum or a great daughter. When it comes to leadership and getting the best out of your staff and your freelancers, that in itself is something that even the biggest leaders would go on leadership management courses for. So I'm on that journey at the moment, and you would probably need to ask the staff that question, not me. And I think I would probably cry to hear what they say. But I think it's, I do feel like I'm spread very thinly. However, a number of our team members are mums themselves. So we have single mums, we have mums that have certain commitments with the hours that they work. So we kind of all pull together and try and empathize and understand each other's commitments. However, what I would say is mums, especially single mums, they would bend over backwards even more to help the client out. That's what I've learned personally.
Wow.
We find it harder to say no, and there's a certain beauty in that kind of an employee or staff member or team member.
Beautiful.
And the passion and the drive, being such a single mum, it definitely is a different type of entrepreneur, 100%, because you've got to prove that to your child that you are mum and dad as well.
So you are a wonderful leader. I see that you are very empathetic towards your people. I mean, when you are seeing where they are coming from, and trying to nurture certain values in them, and you have a lot of empathy when you are dealing with your people. I see that with your answers.
Thank you.
Being a people's person is really good. As a leader, you should have that empathy in you. But as a leader, you also are knowing very well that you are living in a world of technology. Your customers are seeing your products. They are experiencing it. They are seeing it on different platforms. Technology becomes a great medium for you to reach to your consumer. Um, how are you leveraging technology in your business as a woman entrepreneur? And where do you see will technology be taking you in the near future?
I think technology is moving very, very fast, especially now with AI. So it's a massive learning curve for any entrepreneur and for any company and business. At the moment, we've got a lot of AI integrations that are being offered to us to be able to analyze hair health, skin, scalp health, hair types, and age in terms of a bot system or an AI system that can be planted onto our website in order to make a customer journey a lot easier to pick and choose what products to purchase from us, from our website or from our retailers that we are stocked in. So that's how we are navigating how to use AI in order to do that.
And you, as a leader, how are you preparing yourself with technology? Because while there will be a lot of vendors or outsiders from, or maybe even employees within the company, they will be speaking a lot about, this is the new technology which is coming up. This is how we can imbibe AI. As a leader, it's very important to also start knowing about these technologies, at least learning how they work. Would it even work? Is it even relevant for us? Because
is it even going to,
is
there going to be a return on investment?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So how are you preparing your own self to learn about why is this technology, I mean, how it works, why is it even important for me, so that your decisions in the future becomes much more aligned towards the overall goals that you're setting for your organization?
So personally, we're putting ourselves in our customers' shoes. So for example, we are testing out technologies where at live events and pop-ups, we are able to provide technical knowledge on your scalp health and where you have hair loss problems and scalp problems, where your follicles exist or don't, where you have dry patches through technical devices that use AI technology to assess your scalp. At the moment, we are in the process of bringing in that technology, as we have got a lot of shows lined up at the end of this year from September through the next year at Salon International and at another exhibition next month at Pause Live. So that's a very specifically beauty related AI technology, which you can check through a camera and the iPhone that we would possess. We'd say you coming to us saying, Nadia, what shall I do about my hair? We can check where the flakiness and the patchiness is, whether there's any inflammation in a certain area of your scalp, and then provide you with products. that would help with that issue of hair and scalp.
Sounds interesting. Sounds really interesting. You're getting all techie towards your products now. Me coming from the pricing background would also love to ask you and understand from you. How do you think is pricing important for such a niche product of yours?
Pricing
You're in
is
a very niche segment.
It's really important. And I think what we've learned is to have the pricing right from the beginning so that we've got the right margins to be able to go into retailers, so that everybody can make their profits. That's the key from a business and a mathematical point of view or a financial point of view. From a customer point of view, a lot of smaller brands like ours have always started off with higher quality products and ingredients and botanicals than larger brands, which I won't mention any names, because we are not so much about the profit. We are about the quality, the proof, the science, the background, and the key ingredients that go into the product that will help with the hair loss rather than the margins and diluting the product down. And that in itself means that your economies of scale for a number of years might not work out because you're using higher quality products. Your prices need to be relevant to that. So it's a balancing act, and it's a very costly balancing act. But it's very important to get your brand connected and connect with your pricing from the beginning. So if you're going to,
which means you are very much focusing on that niche segment of customers who are driven towards quality versus just a brand, right? So are there a lot of customers in UK who are this niche segment, who will be ready to pay a premium for a very special product that you have?
There are, and it just depends on how you market it to them as well. So everything goes hand in hand. Although I've said the quality is great, but you need to be able to reflect that in your marketing as well, with proof, evidence, scientific backup, and also testimonials and reviews as well. So it's a whole 360-degree plan that you have to make with the pricing, with the strategy, with the promotion, and obviously the 4 Ps as well.
So with that question, I'm so much in awe of what you are doing. And as an entrepreneur, as a woman entrepreneur, the challenges that you have faced and how you have overcome them. And I see a lot of, as I said, I see a lot of empathy in you as a leader. And I'm pretty sure your team of moms would be very happy working. Pretty sure there will be many more entrepreneurs who will be following you to understand how you are imbibing technology, because technology is not leaving anyone. Technology is here to stay, and would love to see you more posts from you. Thanks a lot for coming.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me, and thank you for listening, everyone.
Wow, what an amazing episode, packed with stories from personal experiences and tips for succeeding in the beauty segment. If you want more exciting episodes like this, do not forget to like and subscribe to us on YouTube. Share your thoughts about today's episode in the comments below. This is Nadia Hussain signing out. See you in the next episode. Bye-bye.